Everybody, welcome to the channel if you've not been here before. I typically cover a mobile game called Marvel Strike Force, but I'm a big fan of Marvel and I wanted to cover this game, at least I'm thinking I want to, based on the beta weekend and a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing out there for leaks, images, characters coming to the game. Honestly, this game has me super hyped at this point. I'm trying not to get too excited about it, but anyway, I've decided that I'm going to at least start doing content on this. So if you're new, my name's WolverThor. I typically cover content that's like strategy, efficiency, stats, like, is this really the right way to go with this? Is this the right character to build in this? Is the right team? Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, but I'm not here to do that stuff now. Right now, I'm really just looking at this game for a bunch of fun stuff. I want to start covering it. Anything from, you know, things that I see that are cool, leaks, images, some of this stuff you guys have probably seen already, but I just want to get out there, say, hey, everybody, that I want to cover the game, and I plan to cover the game. Some of this is for people who are watching or know me from Marvel Strike Force. I am recommending this game at this point. If you want to wait, and cool, we'll talk about it in Discord. If you want to join the Discord, links in the description below. So I'll definitely be sharing any thoughts, if people want to play together, etc. In this video, we're going to look at some of the leaks that's come out for some of the characters that are coming from downloadable content and some pretty dope photos that are that were already leaked into the game that are coming eventually. So anyway, let's go check out some of the stuff. Bring me WolverThor! First up is there was some downloaded content, or 15 eventual downloaded characters that are probably seem to be coming to the game. A lot of this stuff is data mined, which, if you're not familiar, data mines are people going into the files of the game, figuring out what's there and then sharing it. So you can, and I'm not a technical person as far as that's concerned, so I don't know exactly how that works, but what I do know is that people are able to go to the game, find a whole bunch of little stuff, and find clues about abilities and gear and characters and all kinds of different stuff. Again, doesn't mean they're necessarily common, but they might. So in this, there's an article for Murphy's Multiverse that talks about this data leak specific, and this one we're talking about some potential characters coming to the game. And when I first played this, I was like, all right, well, we can play as Cap and Thor kind of in the A-Day event, but then it was just about Kamala Khan and Hulk, and it was like, okay, I thought they were alright, they weren't bad, and then you get Black Widow and Iron Man, and I personally loved playing Black Widow a lot. I played her a ton, and then switched over to Iron Man. It was like, okay, these are similar, and at first I was like, I don't know if I like this, but then I started thinking about how each character plays, and it really did, and this really hit me once I started playing with Hulk, is that they really do kind of play how you'd expect if you were that character, which for me, I love that as a part of this game, because I don't know, maybe it's the child inside of me, but what I love about superheroes is pretending you're a superhero or you're your favorite superhero and acting like it. And this game, I think, is going to capture that very well. And I did a couple of fun videos with my daughter, who is 5, and just kind of playing around, and she could not really play. It was a harm room, but you can see that there's a level of simplicity to the game, and you'll see a lot of other complex combos, techniques, way to switch weapons, way to do different things and combo attacks that also bring to the higher level player, which for me, I like that. So I'm seeing this wide range of potential here as far as the gameplay goes. And then you've got these characters all over the place where it's like, okay, these 4, and you see this where it's like, we've got Ant-Man. Okay, now I'm not necessarily the biggest Ant-Man fan per se as a fan, but you know, being able to shrink other people down, get to Giant Man and do all these crazy stuff, I'm like, that would be pretty fun. And you just kind of stomp around like Godzilla on a different level. Vision, he's just a great character. He'll be able to, you know, fly around. He's probably gonna be pretty strong. I don't know if he'll have the Infinity Stone or not, but I think that's a good Avenger character add. Black Panther's a no-brainer in my mind. I'm really interested to see how he transverses around. I don't know if he'll have a grappling hook or if he'll just claw and jump or use some sort of Wakanda technology to kind of leap around. And that's one of the things in the game, that there's a lot of high marks to jump into, and you know, Black Widow's grappling hook, Kamala's got her ability to stretch out, and Iron Man's Iron Man, so he can fly everywhere. But Hulk, he was a little clunky in that regard, so it was really hard to jump and do these things, which, if I was going to fix one thing about the beta or the game in general, that would be one thing where Hulk can leap deserts and buildings and all kinds of stuff. Like, let me hold down the jump button and basically allow him to jump for an extended amount of time, almost Michael Jordan hang time-esque. Anyway, that's a side note. So, and then you got Doctor Strange, which I could think would be dope. You'd see a bunch of him opening portals, doing all kinds of crazy, like, mystic art stuff. I think he's one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, so to see how they put him in this game would be fantastic. Falcon, I like him. He's a decent character. I'll be interested to see how they do him here. He obviously flies pretty easily, so his transverse ability or his ability to travel around will be, super easy. And then you've got Mar-Vell, from Kree, and so we'll see how that kind of shakes out. I could see that just potentially being a character and introducing, which a character we'll get to shortly. Mockingbird, I'm not a big Mockingbird fan, but I do love when they introduce characters like that if they're in the game. Kind of, a little niche character that maybe some like, maybe some don't, but those who are really into, a character like that will get all into it. Quake from the series. I've played Quake's in the Marvel Strike Force game that I've got, and she's actually was in part of the meta for the longest time, which was hilarious. A character in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. It might have been the actress who played her, but she became kind of a fan favorite a little bit for some. I would love to see how she potentially, plays this game where she just rattles the earth. I could see her being able to fly based on using her abilities to kind of like force herself up. That'd be cool. Winter Soldier. I just like Bucky. He's going to be probably very similar to Cap, maybe a little bit more machine gun-ish. Scarlet Witch. Personally, she's another one of those types that are like one of the strongest in the Marvel universe. So seeing her in the game, obviously she'll be able to fly. I would probably be most excited about playing her just because I feel like there's not a ton of huge Scarlet Witch fans, and I could see her being some sort of controller but damage and fly and just really like split things apart, giant machines, almost like at the end of Endgame where she's going, spoiler, she's going at Thanos and ready to crush him, except for the ships turning and blowing up everything. And then Captain Marvel. I think the Mar-Vell thing might be just a caricature, whereas Captain Marvel I could definitely see coming to the game, who would be, I'd imagine, an extremely strong character, a very strong character to play, easy to fly around, build up energy, really kind of a mix between Iron Man and Hulk probably, and that would be fun. I'd love that. Kate Bishop, I could see that potentially being a story thing as well, given that Hawkeye's planning to come to the game. She-Hulk, I think she'll be here. She'll kind of probably be, man, I don't know where she'd be. Obviously, she's closer to Hulk. I don't want to say Iron Man and Hulk because she's thinner, but maybe a Black Widow and Hulk mix. I don't know. We'll see. That makes a lot of sense too with the Disney Plus series. I could just, stuff like that is going to be inputted here. So, and then War Machine. He'll be like Iron Man, but probably a little bit more machine guns, missiles, blowing things up. So, the part that I really like about this is that these characters that are listed here are either going to be in the story, or I'm sure at least a few of these are going to be in the game. Captain Marvel seems like a no-brainer. I feel like Vision, I want to say Scarlet Witch too, and Falcon. I feel like they could definitely be in this. It makes too much sense. So anyway, I don't know. This is part of the hype. Then I'm going to jump to this other stuff, and this is on Reddit. And shout out to Dirty For You. Almost all of these images I'm about to share are from this Reddit post, this Reddit user. And it just shows how sexy this game is. So I'll try to make sure I'm not like covering up too much of the screen here. But you've got Iron Man with a Captain America, outfit behind him, just kind of in the helicarrier. That's just a close-up of the actual Captain America outfit. You've got Iron Man looking out the helicarrier. And again, this we haven't played this part in game. At least I don't remember this part in the beta yet. But it's just showing different parts of the helicarrier. Right now, the helicarrier's ran down. So maybe they'll get it back up. Another Iron Man photo, just kind of looking at a Quinjet. Again, this might be once the helicarrier is a little bit active in game, which this is another photo of that, which if that's the case, my mind with where this game could go is just, I don't know. I mean, if this is some sort of community hub, and I used to play WoW back in the day. So I loved World of Warcraft. And I loved the aspect where you had an avatar or a widget or whatever you want to call it that you had and you built up on and continued to just make stronger. And you had this community of players that you could play with. You had factions that you could PvP against each other. You had this endgame content where you were building up gear through little mini dungeons for a later, more difficult raid, which we already know the developers said that a raid is coming. They said they use a different word for it, but that concept is there. So they're thinking endgame. I'm like, okay, great. And then in similar, I think it was in the game Guild Wars, where they had a PvP aspect where it was kind of like a control or not necessarily capture the flag, but control the area. And Halo had this actually, where if you sat in an area long enough, you know, you got the points and you'd be competing with each other this whole time with these two teams. And I could see this being very much like that, where you've got your team of 5 or whatever competing against another team of 5, and you're trying to control zones. And a ton of the areas in the beta were just like that, where this seemed to be PvP like in the waiting wings. And so I'm just seeing all of this. There's another picture, all of this potential in this game. If they tap in that, if they're gonna go that direction. Here's another picture of the vendors. The other one is Iron Man. This is Kamala. So it's like, you know, it's the auction house, and wow, it's like, okay, like, is this where they're going with this? You know, picture just on the deck with Captain America, you know, Bruce, and here's another one with Captain America and Iron Man. And this is the group where you can see them all talking to Maria Hill. Anyway, so I'm being a little long-winded in some of this stuff, but I am pretty stoked about this game at the moment. I love the beta weekend. I think I put 30 hours into it. The wife, I had to work out some deals for those of you who are in a partnership of any sort, where one of them is maybe not a gamer. My wife, she doesn't like that a game, but she's kind of like, you know what, if you really want to play that game and see if you want to play it extensively, go ahead, rock out for 30 hours. So I did, and I just couldn't believe how much I wanted to keep playing and playing and playing. I'm just looking forward to this release. I really hope that it's everything that I think it's gonna be. Yeah, so the last thing I want to mention is that there were some other data mines. Tonybing, who I know from Marvel Strike Force community. I'm sure most of you, if you're watching this, know who that is. Even if you're new to my channel, you've probably heard of Tonybing in this game or others. Tony is a fantastic person. He's a great content creator. I really like him a lot. He's all over this game, so definitely subscribe to his channel, check him out. And he's trying to get a bunch of content out there, and he will also cover this game. If he covers it anywhere near what I know he covers for his other games, he's a fantastic person to follow for understanding stats, aspects of the game that can help you improve, and he's just a really good guy. He is, I don't know, as far as integrity, he's up there. I'd go have beers with Tonybing any day of the week. So Tony, if we ever get close to each other, we'll have to do that. So anyway, he had some info about some Black Widow attacks and some data mines. He covered some stuff with Black Panther 2 in one of his other videos, but I wanted to point out this fact that was showing some of these different attacks for her, that he's finding out, he's digging into the game, and he's finding these different things. He's sharing them as much as he can. And right here you can see Black Widow is going to get some more kind of, I guess, potential power attacks. So this is where I'm at with the game. I'm loving it. What do you guys think? Are you guys thinking about that? If you've already played the game and that's why you came here, because like, oh, this person's talking about Marvel's Avengers and I can't get enough of this. Who's this WolverThor person? You're probably already in the same boat with me, where you're probably hyped. If you're an MSF person who's thinking about playing this game, right now I'm telling you, I'm stoked to play it. And there's another open beta weekend coming up. The game's coming out in a couple weeks. The only other thing that I'd love for these guys to do is cross-platform co-ops. If that happens, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. So just take my and others' money, downloadable content, skins, all kinds of different things. So that's all I got for today. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Like I said, I'm going to be covering this game quite a bit, so if you want to check out anything that I've got to offer, feel free to hammer down on that like button, notification bell, subscription button, all that kind of thing. Like I mentioned, the Discord link is in the description below. Pretty good about getting on stuff on there. We've got a specific Marvel's Avengers section. Only a couple channels, so not too hard to figure out where to chat. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.